In light of the Olivet prophecy, the three parables of virgins, talents, and sheep and goats are very relevant. Let's examine these important lessons in Matthew 25. Were the 10 virgins bridesmaids? Then the kingdom of heaven will be comparable to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the groom. One ancient custom was for a groom to build a home for his bride, either self-standing or as an addition to his parents' home. When finished, perhaps after a year, a groom might have a parade through the streets at night to the home of his bride's parents and eventually take her to his new home. 10 bridesmaids were readying to join the groom's parade. Did some of them have a character flaw? 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. What problem did the foolishly unprepared face? Is this one of the warnings that Jesus gave in his Olivet prophecy? The 5 who were foolish didn't take enough oil for their lamps, but the other 5 were wise enough to take along extra oil. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. What dilemma did the foolish and unprepared virgins face? But at midnight there was a cry, "Behold, the bridegroom's coming, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "What if there isn't enough for us and you? You go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves." What happened when they ran out of time? Why the twist to the story that the groom didn't acknowledge them? Was it because they missed the parade? But while they were gone to buy oil, the groom came. Those who were ready went with him into the wedding. Then the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came and said, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." But he replied, "I tell you the truth, I don't know you." Is the basic message the same warning as in the Olivet prophecy? So, my disciples, always be ready. You don't know the day or the time when all this will happen. So what's the lesson for us? Are we ready for Christ? Are we living lives of faithfulness or become lazy and worldly? You decide. Next is the parable of the talents. Has God also entrusted us with various responsibilities according to our abilities? For it'll be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. What did each do with the master's investment? Immediately the man who'd received 5 talents went, put them to work, and earned 5 more. In the same way the man with 2 earned 2 more. But the man who'd received 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. What happened with the Lord's investment in the first man? After a long time the Lord of those servants comes and reckons with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought another 5 talents, saying, "Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Behold, I've gained beside them 5 talents more." His Lord said to him, "Well done, you good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of my Lord." What about the second man? Also the one who'd received the 2 talents came up and said, "Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I've earned 2 more talents." His master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful slave. You were faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Enter the joy of your master." What excuse did the man who did nothing make? Then the man who'd received 1 bag of gold came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you're a hard man, harvesting where you've not sown, and gathering where you've not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you." What was the master's reaction? But the master replied, "You wicked and lazy servant, if you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant, and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it." What was the master's decision? Why give to the one who does not need more? The spiritual talents that God gives are to bless others, not hoard for self. Hence, could it be that God gave more to the man who actually proved that he was willing to share the most? Take away, therefore, the talent from him, and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will be given, and he'll have abundance. But from him who doesn't have, even that which he has will be taken away. Throw out the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness, where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. In God's economy, are people blessed because they give? Are Christians not to be deceived that wealth is for selfish purposes? A talent is spiritual gold, and those who increase the spiritual gold that God has given will be rewarded. Are we generous, or like exclusive sects that do not share the news of what God can give? You decide. What'll Judgment Day look like? When the Son of Man comes in his glory, with all his angels, he'll sit on his royal throne. The people of all nations will be brought before him, and he'll separate them, as shepherds separate their sheep from their goats. He'll place the sheep on his right, and the goats on his left. What'll Jesus say to the sheep on his right? Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me." What'll they ask him? Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and take you in, or without clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And the king will answer them, "I assure you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." What'll Jesus say to the goats on his left? Then shall he say also to them on the left hand, "Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. And you clothed me not. And in prison, and you visited me not." What will they ask him? Then they themselves also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or as a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and didn't take care of you?" Then he'll answer them, "Truly I say to you, to the extent that you didn't do it for one of the least of these, you didn't do it for me either." What will be their eternity? And they'll go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous will go into eternal life. Are good works such as this a determining factor in our eternal destination? Does this challenge the idea of faith alone that some of our fellow Protestants teach? What are we doing to help those in need? You decide.